right, what's going on, everybody? Another episode of The Art and the Artist. I am here today with Edgar Scott. Mr. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you for coming to my studio.
Oh, yeah. I was aware of you because of Matter Studio Gallery. I wasn't able to make it to the show, but I saw the work, the video.
Hopefully you'll make it to the closing of the show.
I will be there. I will absolutely be there.
The 26th of February.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't wait. That'll be fantastic. Okay, so I want to just start from the beginning and work our way up to where we are right now. So where are you from originally, and where are you currently located?
I am a native son of Los Angeles. I was born at Queen of Angels Hospital in Hollywood in 1961. My parents, Benjamin and Elrita. My dad later changed his name to Sherman. But I was born here. I went to school at Cienega Elementary, junior high at John Burroughs Junior High. Yeah. Well, I graduated from Fairfax High, went to City College, LACC for a while. And that's when I left. When I left, I went to the University of Toledo for 2 years. Then I left, and I figured I would go back to school. I would finish school in New York. I ended up finishing school in New York 40 years later. I just got my BA in 2020. Unfortunately, it was COVID, so I didn't get to graduate.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I didn't get to walk across the stage, but I just got my BA in fine art from Lehman College in the Bronx.
That's beautiful. All right, okay. Do you think, I'm kind of jumping around here, but do you think that waiting this long to get your BA and to finish school maybe had a better impact on you than staying in school?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The difference in going back to school afterwards is I'm older than the instructors, and I'm instructing the instructors.
Yeah,
I had an ethics class, and the ethics teacher presented Truman and the atom bomb and the choice in ethics. And I said, wait a minute, you're not framing this correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, you're just talking about him dropping the atom bomb. I said, you need to tell the class the entire story. The Japanese bombed us first at Pearl Harbor using the scrap metal that we had sold them.
Okay.
So they made planes out of our metal, bombed us, and then we came back and we shut it down.
Yeah.
We didn't start the first, we didn't pass the first lick, but we shut it down. We shut it down hard.
Oh, yeah.
We shut it down hard. We dropped 2 bombs because they weren't sure if the first one. They were like, I don't know about the first one. We're like, okay, bitch, you weren't ready for the first one. Okay, boom. And then they were like, all right. So then the Japanese decided, we will beat you at your own game. We will take your technology, we'll make it better and cheaper and faster and sell it back to you. And that's what they do. We keep coming up with brilliant ideas, cars and everything. Yeah. They take it from us, they work on it, and then they sell it back to us. So it's like, we'll beat you at your own game.
Okay, yeah. But make it efficient, I will say that.
But we got to make it better.
Yes.
You make the mousetrap, and then we improve it. We tweak it, and then we sell it back to you.
Yeah.
We sell you back, Honda and Sony, but we created television. We created the film industry. We created all this stuff, but then they'll take it and tweak it, and they'll give it back to you. Kung fu movies.
Yeah. Sounds like black culture to me.
We invented it, and then they take it from us, and then but we keep inventing. They snatched it. If you saw Dreamgirls, if you remember that part where they did "Got Me a Cadillac Car," and then the white people did "Got Me a Cadillac Car" with the Letterman jacket, and their song went to the charts. That was a strict lesson. And I don't think they actually did that in the movie. I think they tried to tone it down because they didn't want people to feel offended.
Oh, okay. Oh, even though it's the truth.
It was the truth. I mean, there was that one song about Cadillac Car, about the black man having a Cadillac car to prove he too belonged in the American dream. They cut that from the movie.
Oh, okay.
They completely cut all of that, all of those hard truths to make something softer that could be...
All right, more palatable for the greater
if you're gonna,
audience.
Spread it around.
Okay, not piss off too many.
It wasn't butter, it was parquet. It's parquet.
I mean, it's a history of that, though. I mean, it's if we're going back, say the 60s, having white artists record Little Richard songs and having them, the Beach Boys having to pay.
Dionne Warwick.
Yeah.
Everything that Dionne Warwick sang, there was some chick, Petula Clark, or somebody who was redoing everything that she did. Everything that she did. Somebody else would take it and they would tweak it, and
Oh, yeah.
There was a time when they said Aretha Franklin showed up and the people in Europe were shocked because they had put a white woman on the album cover, so they didn't even know. They were like, "Who is this?
Wow.
This isn't what we were." But
that's how they had to sell
that's
the
the
record.
way music was sold for a while, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because you couldn't see what you were hearing.
Yeah.
The record industry is...
Yeah. It's that reminds me of the scene from the Five Heartbeats when they get the album cover. Not one of the Five Heartbeats on the album cover is a white family on the cover.
You're like, what? But that's,
That's how it used to be. That's how it was. I mean, it's still sort of going on today. I mean, they're still taking our music and flipping it and turning it into pop music and fashion.
Ice Baby.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember that vividly. What was that, 92? I might have been 7 or 8 years old.
But actually, I
when that song
listened to
came
it
out.
not too long
It's
ago,
not a
and I'm
bad
like,
song.
wait a minute.
I can't lie.
It was kind of cute. It was like Ice Baby. But when it came out, I
loved
was
it.
like,
oh really?
I was like, no, cancel.
We
weren't even canceling people back then.
No, not yet.
But that's the word now. But
Yeah.
I remember when he did it, I was kind of like...
Oh, yeah. There was a scene from the Soul Train Awards that year, and Heavy D was mad that song was nominated. Either was Best Rap Singer or something, and the entire award show, whenever Heavy D got a chance, he was shitting on Vanilla Ice. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, Kanye tried the same thing when he jumped up and screamed about Beyonce over Taylor Swift. So there's always somebody who's lit who's going to scream, and then they're going to go like, sit down.
Yeah, act like he's crazy. Absolutely. Okay. I like the way this is going already. Okay. All right. So, when you moved to New York, was that for art, or was that for your modeling career?
That was for my career.
Found out you had.
That was for my career. That was for my modeling career. I decided that, I don't know why, but as a young child, boy of 16 here in Los Angeles, I saw Brooke Shields on the cover of People magazine, and for some reason I identified with the white girl, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be that and Beverly Johnson and Renal White. Renal White was on the cover of GQ back then, but those, Charles Williamson, Renal White, but fashion. I saw the movie Mahogany and The Eyes of Laura Mars, and I was fascinated by fashion. It just seemed like this wild, crazy world of, that's what made me, the movie Mahogany made me want to be a model and made me want to be a photographer.
Okay.
So I moved to New York to pursue a modeling career. I had started off here in LA. I was dancing on Soul Train when I was in high school. All they gave you was a box of chicken and a Springfield soda. But I was a star. When somebody recognized me in the supermarket, they were like, didn't you dance on Soul? I was like, oh, I made it. I'm a star. So, but that whole experience of dancing on camera, I went from being a floor dancer to dancing on the riser with Crystal. And funny story is, one time when I was dancing on Soul Train, when they had the lights in the wheels, we were dancing to Stomp by Brothers Johnson. I'm gonna stomp. And I stomped, and my foot went through the floor to my thigh. And I'm stuck in the stage, and I'm like,
Camera's rolling.
hey, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. And they said, we can't stop the tape. Keep dancing. So I've got one leg down and one leg up. It looks like I'm dancing on my knee. And my partner's just dancing all around me and swinging around and dancing around me. And I'm dancing, and I'm like stuck in here, and I'm dancing. And finally they cut. All right, everybody left the riser. I'm the only one stuck with his leg in the thing. And they're like, we got somebody who's got their leg stuck, And so they came, and they finally got my leg out, pulled it out. It was just scratched. It wasn't really bad. It ripped my clothes, though. They're like, what do you want to do? You want to? I was like, I want to do the scramble board. And I was going to do the scramble board because I got stuck. And then Don Cornelius came up and looked at me and was like, he turned to Chuck Johnson and was like, next thing I know, they were like, you're not doing the scramble board. Now, I could have gone to the hospital and sued, but instead I was trying to get more playtime. I was like,
put me on the camera.
I didn't do the scramble board. That would have been my moment. That would have been my moment to win some Posner. And also you got the radio that looked like the 8-track tape player that looked like a TNT. But
Man.
I miss my moment.
Bring me back to my childhood. Yeah, we used to watch those old. I mean, there was still Soul Train when I was a kid.
I'm older than you, so you were, you know.
Yeah.
I was dancing in 77 to 81, 80, 81.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They used to replay all the old ones. Yeah.
But I mean, I got to see. I didn't go to
But up
concerts
close and
because
personal.
I was seeing them.
Yeah.
I saw Diana Ross. I
Yeah.
saw the Commodores. I remember Stacey Lattisaw, and we would get to ask them while they were waiting and fixing lights. You could ask them questions like, "When is your next album?" and "Who's this?"
Yeah.
and it was like a personal moment, and you could almost reach up and touch them.
Yeah.
After the experience like that, why want to go in the concert and sit all the way in the back?
Yeah.
And,
yeah. You get to ask them questions.
it was all of that.
Oh, that's
all of
beautiful.
that.
Oh, that's incredible. That's really a moment in time. That's a piece of history right there. I mean, especially Black history.
But I mean, live Black history.
Yeah.
You know, between that and skipping classes, I went to Fairfax High, and CBS Television City was right down the street.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So if I decided I didn't feel like going to class that day, I'd go to Television City at lunch break and get tickets to like Sanford and Son or some of the other TV shows that they would tape.
Yeah.
And then I would go watch a live taping of a show.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
You know, and then just getting the notes from somebody.
Yeah.
And that was
class,
the joy.
I mean,
skipping classes, but to go see a live taping.
Yeah.
And that's
worth it.
My being in Hollywood and this television industry and just kind of watching how it was unfolding and wanting to be part of that and trying to figure out where I was going to be part of it. Then when I moved to New York and I started modeling, I remember my modeling agent was like, "You should start taking acting classes."
Okay.
And I thought about it. I'm like, everybody's competing. I'm already doing so much competing and so much rejection with this. I don't think I want to be an actor. I'd rather be a director or something. So I just said no. I wish I had listened to them then and taken the acting classes because, I mean, I worked with all the people. Malik Yoba used to be a stock clerk. I was his manager.
Wow.
Michael Kelly on that show with, God, I can't remember names. That's the joy of being old. But Michael Kelly used to be a waiter with me, and I was the restaurant manager. All these actors that I worked with were, and now they're stars, and I'm like, damn, I
should have took that acting class.
I should have. But sometimes I think I got in my own way because I thought I know better.
Sure.
And if I could go back, I would say to my younger self, when people give you a clue, listen to them. But I was so sure that I knew that I didn't listen. I would be like, no. And lots of times you shoot yourself in the foot or cut off your nose to spite your face, thinking that you have all the answers.
Yeah. Especially in an industry like that. I mean, it's so competitive, like you say. You're competing with.
Well, dealing with rejection is hard. I'm a Virgo. I don't like rejection. You know, I'm a critic. I want to tell everybody what's wrong with you. But it's a one-way street. I don't want to. Nothing. No. I need to put on some Wonder Woman and deflect them. Like, no, you can't tell me about me. I just want to tell you about you.
So then, with that sort of mindset, then was it easy for you in the modeling industry? Because I mean, it's basically someone telling you what to do the whole time.
It was different for me in some ways because I sounded different. Lots of times when I talked to people over the phone and then I showed up, they were like, oh, you're black. Coming from California, lots of times when, it was a different time in the industry when I was there versus now. Like, when my vitiligo started, they would put makeup on it and cover it up. And now, when I do TV shows, because I still do some bit work here and there, they're like, oh, no. I will like, should I go to makeup? They're like, no. They push me out like, no, we want this. No, they want it. But back then they were like, let's cover it up. It looks like leprosy. I don't know.
See,
somebody said that to me once.
Really?
They're like, did someone smell bleach on you?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my Lord.
And I would be like,
Education. Oh, my
No.
goodness. Someone poured bleach on? Okay. All right. But see, that's the beauty of the times we're living in now. Things are just more accepted for what they are.
Well, you can Google it, because that's what I tell them. I'm like, it's called vitiligo.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had it. That's why I wore a glove. Google it.
Yeah. But it's insane to me that, well, I don't know when this was, that someone wouldn't know what
People still come up to me and say crazy shit.
That's insane.
And the other one is kids. Kids will look and go,
sure.
What's wrong with your face?
Sure. Oh, the hard truth with kids, the cold hard truth.
They don't, no filter.
Yeah, Oh, yeah. Yeah, my son would say something like that, and I have to grab him and pull him behind a car and tell him, don't do that.
Boy, if you don't... The parents talking to me through their teeth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be doing a whole series of stuff called Things That You Heard at the Kitchen Table. They're going to be called the boards.
Okay.
And there's the main one that we heard, but Blanco didn't hear.
Sure, yeah.
And that was the Marvin Gaye. I brought you in.
Oh, yeah.
I can take you out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My mom
For
said,
generations, that's a go-to.
but nobody ever. I mean, I'm sure some of them did, but for the most part, that is just a black trope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That stands the test
As
of time.
long as you're under my roof,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
have your ass in the house when the street lights come on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
If everybody jumps off the cliff, are you jumping off the cliff? I ain't one of your little friends in the streets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you paying bills now?
Yep. All of that.
Oh, you got an opinion?
All of that. That would be a long book if you wrote
Because
that.
I'm the mama. That's why.
Oh, I heard all of that.
Because I said so.
All of that. Oh, my goodness. All right. So now you're in New York. You're modeling. What happens after that? How long did you model, and how long I'm not sure if you stopped modeling, but up until when did you start getting into art?
I was always into art because my mother was an artist.
Oh, okay.
My mom was she was a courtroom artist, a quick sketch back in the day.
Yeah.
And she was trying to raise me as a single parent, and she would put me in daycare, and she would be in the courtroom trying to draw, and I would psychosomatically get a fever.
Okay.
And a temperature, and like a temperature of 102, and she'd like call to check on me, and they're like, baby's sick, he's got a fever. And as soon as she'd show up, the temperature would go down.
Yeah.
And I was all right. So she was like, I can't make a living as an artist and take care of this child. And she and my dad were like going back and forth. So she decided, okay, the only way I can take care of my kid and make a living is domestic family. Okay. So she went into cleaning homes for a lot of prominent Jewish families, but took me with her. Okay. So I was with my mom all day while she was working. Sure. When I went to school for kindergarten, I could read and write already. Oh, wow. Which was a problem because the other kids couldn't read and write. Yeah. So when they were doing like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the teacher's reading, I'm like, one's too hard, one's too soft, one's just right. And the teacher's like, I read everything, Jack and the Beanstalk, everything. So I was the kid that was just like, you know too much. Sure. Shut up. Sit down. Yeah. Go to the corner.
And back then,
and I was bored.
They weren't moving kids up grades when they were.
They weren't.
Not challenged.
I could read and write before I went to school.
Sounds like you should have skipped a few grades. Yeah.
They weren't.
That wasn't happening then.
Not at Cienega Elementary School. No, not at Cienega. No.
Okay. All right then. So your mom was a courtroom artist. It was downtown? Was she working in the courtroom?
She was working in downtown. My mom was super talented. She could sew. She could draw. And that creativity that she had, I think, spilled into me. But even my dad, like I'm picking up shirts. He cut everything, and he was sewing with his hands and. He would say to me, I don't understand art. You're an artist. What is that? I don't, Yeah. But at the same time, you painted the entire pathway blue, and this wall was painted blue because he liked blue. So he just got a paintbrush and started painting everything blue. I'm like, Dad, that's art. Yeah. And he didn't see it. He's like, no, I just like blue. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no arguing with that then.
No, he didn't consider himself artist. He just said, I like blue. But I'm like, you painted everything blue.
Yeah. See, that's different. You
painted every chair in the building. You painted the fountain. If you walk out and you'll see the fountain and the chessboard and everything was blue.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and he did all that.
He did all of that.
But doesn't get art.
But didn't understand art. I was playing art. I would show him something. He goes, I don't get it. What? That one up
man.
there in the very corner was the one my dad did.
Oh, okay.
And that one that's blue.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that's my mom and my dad when they got married.
Wow.
My mom made the wedding cake.
Yeah.
And the candles and stuff.
That's incredible.
And she's looking at the cake, and if you look at the picture, Dad's looking at you like, hey, look what I got.
That is fantastic. All right, so how did your parents feel about you moving to New York then? Did they want you to stay?
They were
local?
trying, at that point, when I was at the University of Toledo and my Uncle Daniel had passed from Alzheimer's, I got a notice that I had 2 weeks to move.
Okay.
Out of the house that I was living in that had been my uncle's house. It was like 3 blocks from the college, from the University of Toledo. And I had to decide what I was going to do. And my mom wanted me to come home because she wanted to control. My dad wanted me to come home because he wanted to control. And I was determined that I was going to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I also was gay, and I knew my family was not very happy with that situation.
Yeah.
And they were constantly trying to tone it down. So I decided that I would go to New York, I would reinvent myself, drop my last name, the last name Newsom, because in school kids called me Nuisance and I hated it. So when I went to New York, I reinvented myself. I just used my first and middle name, Edgar Scott, and created the entity that you see today.
Okay. So when you moved to New York, you didn't have it. Oh, you said you were living at your uncle's house?
I was living at my uncle's house in Ohio, going to school at the University of Toledo.
First.
My uncle developed Alzheimer's. We didn't know what was wrong, but he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. He was a double PhD. He was the dean of the college, but his behavior was a little off. So they sent my uncle to live with my dad. So I was in his house all by myself. Then he passed, and this is in '83.
Okay.
And then I got the notice that I had to leave, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm not coming back to LA. I'm going to New York. I'm going to pursue. If I don't do it now, I'll never get a chance because my family is trying to get their hands on me. So I went to New York to
without
pursue
knowing anyone.
Huh?
No contacts, no friends in New York.
I had made 1 or 2 trips. I had danced at the garage. I was cute, so it was easy to make friends. I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. The Janet, what's the name, Dubois from Streetcar Named Desire kind of situation. So it was easy for me to make friends. And I was like, step out on faith. If you really believe in something, step out on faith. And that's what I did. I was like, I'm going to finish school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do it in New York because New York looked like a party. When I got to New York, it was a party.
It was a party.
But New York has changed since then. It has gotten grittier and uglier. And, I went all through the days of Koch and the graffiti on the subway. I used to work in Soho, and I would get off the train, and Keith Haring would be in the subway just drawing on the wall. I would like, hey, Keith. And I'd walk to work going to French Connection. And Basquiat was like passed out in the gutter, recovering from a night of get high. And I'd step over him. And then my friend was like, that's Basquiat. I was like, and now all these people are like famous. Or dead. Dead and famous. But
that was a time for art in New York, too.
It was an amazing time. It was an amazing time for art, and I was there for all of it. I was there for all of it.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so at that time, then, have you started to produce art at that time?
I was doing photography. The very first camera I got, my grandfather sent me $25 for my birthday. I think I was 16 or 17, and I got a camera at a pawn shop. I got a Vivitar camera, and I started going around Los Angeles taking pictures and photography. Then when I was at LACC, I was like, I'm really into photography, and I want to be a model. So somebody said it would be to your advantage to be in front of the camera and behind the camera so that you could learn. So I started taking developing classes and learning composition. But I start off self-teaching and then got into taking classes. I also went to New York and I went to school at the School of Visual Arts. Took printing classes and learned how to print my own photography. So that was part of the thing, is like learning how to do it myself.
Oh, without having to need anyone for any other process.
Right. That's kind of what I decide. Like one day I'm going to have a restaurant and a bar, but I went to culinary school.
Okay.
I've been a bartender, so
you know, all the knowledge is already there.
It's all there, and it's just eventually I'm gonna put it together.
Okay. Okay. Oh, fantastic. All right. Still with plans. Still.
Oh. Yeah,
I don't think that
every
ever
day
stops.
there's another.
Yeah.
There's another mountain to climb. There's another, man from La Mancha, another windmill to fight.
Sure, but I mean I feel like that's what keeps you going. I mean, that's what keeps me going.
Young.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me young.
Yeah. You can't just sit around, let time go by without doing the things that you.
Well, you got to spend some time. You got to chill.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to chill sometimes.
You need time to chill, but
you got to. I can't put my nose to the grindstone. It'd be burned off by now.
That's true. Like when I started this, it was just an idea, and I thought, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. You know, I'm still a fairly young man, but if I don't do this now, I don't think I'll ever do it.
Sometimes we wait for the right moment.
Yes.
It's almost like I can't. What are those things that are spinning around? Oh, like double dutch.
Okay,
like you see people waiting to jump into the rope.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, you got to keep hopping.
Yeah.
Keep hopping until you jump out.
Yeah.
But it's that moment of waiting to get can I? You don't want to jump in and trip on the rope.
Okay.
So you got to wait for that moment to jump in, and then you just keep jumping.
Yeah. Until you jump
I can't
out.
double dutch to save my life. I'm clumsy as fuck. So, oops. I was told that I dropped too many F-bombs.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We'll.
Will you bleep it or?
Oh, if you want me to, sure.
No, I don't care.
Okay,
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
We'll leave it in. Yeah, not a lot of children watching this YouTube channel.
This is an adult. This is an adult.
I mean, we're having a nice glass of wine. Well, I'm not having a nice glass. I'm having a nice cup.
Let's get you some more here. Come on now. Come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus.
This is the second interview I'm gonna. Drinking on camera, so that's always fun.
But I think that this is the nectar of the gods. It's grape juice. It's Jesus juice, as Michael Jackson used to call it. I mean, he's, it's nature.
I spent 12 years in Catholic
and in
school,
California,
so
that's the best thing, because a bottle that's $7 in New York, $7 in Los Angeles is $21 when it gets to New York because of transportation charges.
That's right. Yeah.
Transportation charges. So I'm enjoying drinking as much wine as I can here in California. I'm ready to go step on some grapes.
Mm-hmm. You should go San Ynez, go wine tasting out there. A lot of good wineries out there, I've heard.
I'm waiting. Someone take me to the winery. I would love that experience. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. Come and get me. Here I am.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about the first piece that you made. I don't know when it was, what it was, but the first piece of art that you made that made you realize, okay, I got something going on right here.
When I was at LACC here in Los Angeles, I was taking an art class, and I was really fascinated by Picasso, and I started painting. I started doing paintings, and the paintings really, and having watched my mom paint, and I had a thing for color and stuff, that was kind of the beginning. I didn't get into doing the sculptures until I was at Hostos. And at Hostos, I was part of the leadership. We were leadership ambassadors.
Okay.
And they one time they had an artist come in, and they had clay in plastic. And we had to shape the clay into a mask.
Okay.
So we shaped the clay into a face, and then we did paper mache on this clay that was wrapped in plastic.
Okay.
And then you let the paper mache dry, and you had a mask.
Okay.
And that was the very first piece that I did.
Okay.
And that mask is still in the college display case.
Really? Wow.
But it was great. It was like, my piece came out.
Okay. Yeah.
So then when I went to the four-year college at Lehman, I took this one class called 3D Design with Tamar, and the teacher said, look, I'm going to be gone doing an installation of my art, so you have 2 weeks, and when I come back, everyone has to give me their first sculpture. Okay. It was a 3D sculpture class, and we turned to the teacher and we were like, well, what are the materials? What are we doing? And she goes, you're in college, figure it out. I was like,
There
I'm
you
in
go.
college, figure it out. So I said, well, I like that first mask that I did, but how could I get to do, sculpture is a 360, it's got to be even on all sides. So I was playing with the balloon, and I was like, balloons look like a head, and I had a cup. And the cup looked like the neck. So I figured if I could get this balloon to sit on this cup and then connect them, and then I could do paper mache on that. And then that was how that started. That's how it started. So I have an example of a sample of like what it looks like before they turn into this. Okay, like this is the paper, and this is Foot Locker bags for the stripes. And this is paper on a small. This is paper, but then afterwards, I start painting it with plaster. And Cyclops, this is all paper. Sorry to be off camera for just a second.
Getting a little behind the scenes action, guys.
Little station identification. So here's a sample of two. This is a work in progress with black paper. That's going to eventually be something, and this is another one that I've figured out how to cut the cup to create eyes. Like that's the black, like the same black cup that you're drinking out of. I've cut the sides to create the eyes. Started shaping the paper to become the nose. Rolls of paper. It's attached to a bottle. It's attached to a bottle. This is a bottle of Saint Germain. So it's got an interesting kind of. But this was a balloon on paper, and the paper, once you get the paper and the glue, it gets stiff. So it kind of turns back into wood, and it gets hard.
Easier to. Was there now the process that you use right now? Was that developed over a period of time? Was it something that you worked on to get to this point, or were you always sort of making sculptures like this?
No, well, I mean, I worked with clay, and I enjoyed working with clay a great deal. But this was different because being in New York, I'm constantly around people, like on the train and stuff. So I would look at faces, and I would try to deconstruct the face and realize, like, how can I reconstruct that face with paper?
Oh, I see. Okay. What is it about faces, though, that inspires you? Is it just how different faces are?
Some faces are tight and up, and like different nationalities. Living in New York, you're closer to people. Unlike Los Angeles, everyone drives around in their car and they're inside of a little bubble. In New York, you're on the train with people. And Asian people have kind of like flat faces, and Jamaicans have cheekbones, and all these different faces, all these different features. Noses that have a bump in it, or noses that are wide, or, you know, I'm constantly looking at all these different faces. So when I'm looking at people's faces, I'm trying to think, okay, that's a flat plane, and then it you know, juts here and that. And so it's kind of like recreating what I see with paper and molding the paper and reshaping it.
Okay, you know, I've got a question, and you're the perfect person to ask this question, because I always wonder about that art scene in New York, let's say like mid-'80s, late 80s, early 90s, as compared to the art scene that you're involved with now, that you're back in Los Angeles. Is it much of a different, let's see, how am I wording this question? Is it a different sort of vibe with New York artists than with LA artists? Is it a little bit more competitive out there? Is it more the people that you know can help
artists,
you out more?
I think real artists need to commune with other artists. What I read, I did a lot of research on Van Gogh and Lautrec, and the artists in art communities, like Gertrude Stein, they all like to hang out with each other and vibe off of each other and talk, but then they go to their studios and they create, you know, and then they need to bring it to their friends and then get a critique, you know, and sometimes you're doing something that nobody understands, you know, like when Jackson Pollock started splashing paint and listening to jazz music and just kind of dancing with paint, and it's just getting paint on canvas. So you need that energy to bounce off of, but at the same time, you try to go away and come back with something new. And then you go away and you do something and you bring it to the group, and then they kind of like chop it up. And some people are like, I don't respect it. And other people are like, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. But you deal with all this different energy, and then you go back and you try to, there's some people that you try to please with your art. You find that there are certain people that you want their praise, you want their, and then there's other people who, if they say red, you're going to say blue.
Oh, no matter what.
So if they don't like it, that means that you're doing the right thing. There's that energy. But I feel that most artists need to commune with other artists to get that vibe and that energy. That's what I like about the show at Matter Gallery. It's a group show instead of a solo show. So it's all different energies, vibing off of each other.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I know Chris Rocket was in that show. And that brother is a whole
He's a rocket
entity into himself.
The name Rocket means rocket.
Oh, yeah, solid dude. That's... I will say this, out of all of the artists that I've met doing the show and going to, gallery openings and things like that, Rocket has been a real solid dude to me. You know what I mean? Like, he's actually the reason I got to go to the LA Art Show this past weekend. Thank you, Rocket.
Hey, Rock.
But, and Carla at Matter Studio.
Oh, she's wonderful.
All right, so let's talk about the show then. So how did that show come about? How did this group show come together?
Well, first, I was at a soccer match for my nephew, and I was I was here in Los Angeles. And I had started working on a paper. I was doing it in New York, but nobody could understand when I said I'm doing paper mache. Sure. So I started doing a series here in LA, and I showed someone at the soccer match the head that I did. It was in the car. They said, you should talk to this guy. And I showed him, and he goes, oh, my closing of my show is, next week. You should come and meet Carla and show her your work. Yeah. So I came, and I met her, and I said, hi, I'm an artist. And Carla, instead of saying, well, see me in a week, she said, come tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Yes. She was like, boom.
Right on it.
So I came the next day. I brought what I had, and she is brutally honest. Yeah. There's no softness. No. I love you, Carla. I love you dearly.
Oh, yeah.
But baby, you cut straight to the core. She's like, so I showed her something. She goes, that's cute, but that looks like a sketch. And then I showed her some other stuff, and she goes, okay. Yeah. So then we were upstairs and we're talking, and like the vibe was really good. And she goes, well, this year's all booked up, but let's look at next year. Well, you're a nice, talented black artist, and we like to feature black artists. So let's see if we can set you up in February. She goes, she wrote it down. And I'm sorry, I'm doing an interview right now. I'm going to have to call you back. I apologize. I love you. You're on camera, and I will call you back. Okay, so some people are insistent. Like, if you hung up on me, because I
calling right back.
He was like, how dare you? How dare you? So anyway, Carlos was like, let's do you a show. So I'm excited. I went home and I'm working on the stuff. Yeah. So all of these pieces had just sat in my living room. They had never left. I mean, outside of taking them to school, Chad, one of my first pieces is at the gallery. So I shipped the stuff to New York. It got so beat up. It was like UPS kicked the boxes. Plaster pieces like this one. The lady, her neck was broken. Okay, so when I got to LA and we pulled all my stuff out the box, even Singer, when Carla pulled out Singer.
Wow, it's a great piece.
Carla pulled out Singer, his neck had broken because he was made with a basket. So I had to I pulled out all my work, and it was so broken that she was like, wait a minute. You got 1 week. 1 week to pull it together. And so when I worked on pieces for a week, and when I came back in to see her, I brought the pieces, and she's like, okay, you've had a week. And this isn't quite enough for a whole show. She goes, we're going to pivot.
Okay.
And I'm like, huh? And she goes, we're going to do this as a group show instead.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm so glad that Rocket and Al were able to come together.
Yeah.
So she's like, get your best pieces and fine tune them. And we're going to, and I'm like, all right. Because the pressure was then taken off my shoulders because like feeling like this pressure of like, I've got to, and plaster takes a while to dry. And Carla was very exacting. She's like, this is wobbly. This is this is that. This is, it's also art. In art, it's about not what you do, but it's also about the presentation.
How you present it, absolutely.
How you present it, because Carla's the one who showed me different ways of presenting, because I was just, initially I had stuck the heads on a glass.
Okay.
And she was like, no, honey, no.
Okay. Okay.
She goes, that looks like craft. We're doing fine art here. This is not a craft.
Yeah.
And she would say things and they would kind of sting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had to leave my ego at the door and just listen to the critique. So she was the one who showed me the apparatus to like put it on the wall. She goes, let's work on that. Let's
how it's presented in the gallery.
The way it's presented in the gallery. That was Carla.
Okay.
So like it was plumbing pieces. So then I'm like, and then she's like, your bases. So I knew somebody who did word work. The family rents a shop to him on Adams, and I went to him and I'm like, I need to, and I designed the bases and the presentation, like, because before I just had them stuck on, out of camera for just a second. I had them just stuck on pieces like this.
Okay.
Like, this is a base, and I would just stick a head on it.
Sure.
And she was like, no, this is a little too, it needs a little more.
Yeah.
It's not enough in this paper, it's like, okay. So we had to, like, pull it together. But this is the initial,
in a week. You had a week to get all this ready to go. Oh, that's how, okay.
That's the way I was initially. I came to this, and I was like, here's my art piece.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, So.
Okay. And Carla is an artist herself, so that
she's brilliant.
She's got the eye. I mean, she knows what she's
brilliant.
doing. Yeah.
She is exact. I mean, like measurements and mathematical and just.
It always comes together at those shows too. It really does.
I'm so happy to have been included in her artist community, and also because I was here in Los Angeles, I went to a couple of different artists.
Sure.
I went to BB's show.
Okay.
I went to Charles Dixon's show. I'm so bad at names, unfortunately, but I got to see a couple of other people's shows, openings and closings, and artist talks, and I got to see this artist community. And see how they support each other. Susan, and really she's wonderful. Susan Feldman and Tim and Rocket. Just this nice community of artists that she has. I feel sheltered. Sheltered.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. That's because I always say this now that all right, so my dad's an artist, right? I grew up in the arts district from the ages of about 15 to 22, 23. I lived right off of Alameda, Alameda and Traction.
That's
right in the heart of the arts district.
That's east, right?
Downtown. Right, not too far from Little Tokyo. So, so if you're, you'd have to be my age or older if you're familiar. Or like Bloom's General Store, or know who Joel Bloom is. I lived right down the street from that store. So we're in the heart of the arts district, and so I grew up around a lot of artists. My dad was in the LA Art Show, I want to say in about 2000, 2001. I remember helping him bring all of his stuff out there, and the artists that I meet today, especially the younger generation, are very supportive. Very, very supportive. They come to each other's shows. Like Chris Rocket, for example. This is going on here, come check it out. Or when he's got a show at Mar Vista, where his studio is, come check this out. It's a very welcoming community, I think.
I like it. I want to do some collabos.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing some collabos. I'm going to do a collabo with Susan. And I want to do some collabos with Chris. I was hoping that Al Walton, but unfortunately, I hope he's doing well. Al, sending you a lot of Love. Because
Okay.
he had a
Oh boy, boy, recovering though.
recovery.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
But yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking forward to like working and expanding my horizons
Sure.
and taking somebody else's knowledge and
Yeah.
co-opting it because
Sure.
together we're stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's funny too because Carla is the perfect person to have met to to be able to meet artists to get these collabs going on because she knows so many artists. All right, so how I met Carla was at the LA Art Show about, I don't know, 2 years ago, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I had just started the show. I don't even think I had one interview, but I had an idea. And she was there, Chris Rocket was there, and another artist named Free Hester. We're all there, I think, representing Matter Studio. And I told her what I was doing, and it's funny how you said, you know, it's not like, oh, well, call me next week, call me in a month. She said, I'm having a show next weekend. Come to the show and we'll talk. And
She's in the moment.
yeah,
She's not.
Yeah.
She's not about a future. You
No.
know, like 2 weeks from now,
No.
3 weeks. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I love about her. Every time it's always like, oh, really?
Yeah, right
She's
now.
like, well, what are you doing right now? It's not about a future plan. It's about right now. What's up right now?
Yeah,
That's what I love
absolutely.
about her.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to talk about what inspires you. What keeps you going?
Music.
Music. Okay.
Music.
All right, so how does your love for music maybe enhance, or how do you incorporate it when you're creating all these pieces in here?
I remember one time I heard that people, I worked in restaurants and hospitality,
Sure. Yeah.
and I read an article that said people eat to the beat.
Oh, okay.
And some restaurants were playing upbeat music because
Yeah.
they wanted turntables faster.
Okay.
And I found that working to certain music, you work faster. Like when I watch Jackson Pollock work while he's listening to jazz, or different people and the different music that they listen to kind of influences the work that you do to a degree, that
Okay.
vibe that
Sure.
I believe in the senses. You know, what does it smell like, look like, taste like? So I try to enhance that. Like when I'm working on a piece, I'm usually like burning incense or smudging with sage, and I'm drinking wine or juice or, you know, so it's got to be, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like?
Yeah.
I have to be comfortable. I have to be,
Yeah.
you know, in the mood, in the moment.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things about this process that I do is you do stuff and then you have to step back from it, let it dry, and you have to leave it. And so that point where you leave and come back, you actually have to figure out what's the next step.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes you can work on stuff, and I found that you work on it and you can overwork it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the other part that I ask lots of artists, like, how do you know when you're done?
I was just about
Because
to ask you
sometimes
that
I'll
question.
do something and it's perfect, and then I keep doing something to it and I lost.
Yeah.
It was like pristine. It was beautiful. You should have just left it alone.
Yes.
But you kept adding and adding, and now you've created like, wait, we lost it.
Yeah.
So it's that moment when you have to like realize, okay, I'm done. I can step away from it, and it stands on its own. It doesn't need another. It doesn't need more.
Is that something you have to learn to do? Because
I'm still learning it. I'm still learning it because I'm still fucking shit up. I'm still doing something, and then I turn around. I'm like, what did you do? I wanted to add ears, and you know, one of my things I got into with my sculptures is I wanted them to have a brain capacity to think. I wanted them to have eyes to see, a mouth to speak, ears to hear, and then at some point, ears became so difficult to do. Like with this one, he ain't got no ears. Okay, because I was just like, you can still exist
with no ears.
You can speak, you can see, you can smell, you can think, but nobody can tell you anything because you can't hear. She got ears. He's got ears. Cyclops doesn't have any ears.
Doesn't need any.
Those have ears, but some of them don't have ears. At a certain point, it gets hard to deal with ears.
All right, so when you're about to start a piece, do you already have in your mind, okay, I want the face to look like this, I want these expressions to be shown, or is it you sort of make it up as you go.
No, they with these pieces, I haven't gotten to the fine tuning point. My mom was able to do that.
Okay.
My mom was able to say, I know what it's going to look like before it's finished.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She would draw it and she would sketch it.
Sure.
She goes, you just like, you do it and you throw it against the wall and walk away like it's art. So now at this point, when I'm starting to do stuff, they start telling me what.
Okay. Oh, that's me. Cool. That's me messing it up. All right, I'm back. All right. Okay. So, what are your plans for the future? You got any more shows coming up anytime soon?
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on the horizon as of yet.
Yeah.
I'm a new artist. I still have to go back to New York and pack up a 3-bedroom apartment full of furniture.
Yeah.
And bring, like the Beverly Hillbillies, bring it to LA.
Good luck.
I'm still trying to handle that situation. Coming back home after 40 years, dealing with ghosts and other things,
Yeah.
My dad died at the age of 90, 3 days after my 60th birthday.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm still processing, dealing with the loss. I'm still grieving. I'm still trying to move forward, dealing with the loss of my uncle and property and alienation. So it's a lot of it's a lot of it's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
I don't even know. It's a lot of. I'm looking for the word. I'm like, oh, it's just a lot.
Yeah. So that move back to LA, was that for the art? Was it was just time to come back home? Or
Well, I always said that if my father died, I would move back to LA. I wasn't going to move back to LA and give him the chance to disappoint me. My dad was a very unique individual. He was very self-centered. He was very selfish. So I always said that I wasn't going to come back until he was passed, because I wasn't going to give him an opportunity to disappoint me. He had done it so many times. My dad was married 5 times. His attitude was like, marriage is like a washing machine. If it's broke, get it fixed. If you can't fix it, get rid of it and get a new one.
Get a new one.
So, that attitude.
Oh, boy, yeah. That's got to be something to grow up with. Yeah. Wow, okay. So your mother, she's still alive?
Unfortunately, no. My mom passed in 2009. And she was going to move to New York, but then she ended up staying in Detroit because she got a hold of a piece of property, and trying to hold on to land and property became more important than the plans that she had made to move to Los Angeles. I mean, to move to New York. That's lately. Every time I want to say New York, I say LA, and every time I want to say LA, I say New York. And it's really a problem because I'm doing it a lot. And it's like,
but you haven't been here for too long. It's all right. You just got back. I'm just
getting back. I'm just trying to get in the swing and the swim. Figure out where I'm going to live. I'm not even sure where I'm going to live.
Really? Do you have any ideas or where you want to be?
I would like to be near water.
Sure.
I don't want to live in the jungle.
Okay.
There are certain areas where I don't want to live.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to live in Watts. I don't want to live in Compton. I want to be more central. I like Inglewood, but I don't like the fact that gas is so expensive and everywhere I go is usually on the other side of... I want my life to be like above Wilshire.
Sure.
If I had the choice.
If you had the
If I had the choice. I don't know if I'm going to have that choice.
Yeah, that's
Most
true.
likely I will be here or in Hawthorne or something, but I'm striving.
Yes.
I'm striving.
You should have a,
if somebody comes along and says, hey, I got a room, then yes.
Okay.
But until then, I don't know. But that's part of the joy or the experience is the journey of,
finding out. I mean, that's sort of life.
Having been established in New York for 40 years and then coming to Los Angeles and not knowing the uncertainty sometimes it freaks me out. And I've threatened to people, I'm going back to New York. Fuck this. I can't do this. I'm going back to what I know. And then I'm like, but what I know isn't really feeding me. What I've got here is feeding me.
Yeah,
and I have a new relationship. I'm in love.
Yeah, yeah.
I found someone who gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, knock on wood, that this works. Knock on wood, because, sometimes you say something the minute you say something, but I found someone that makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's good.
That I'm living for love.
Yeah.
If I could get to that point.
That's beautiful. That's really all we could ask for, really. I mean, to find someone that you can be yourself with, hey, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it.
I'll keep it.
Yeah.
I'll keep it.
Beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay. All right. So okay. I've got another question for you. Hold on. Let me.
Look at
the questions I wrote down.
Come on with it.
Everything I've been asking you, it's just that you say something and I got to react to it because you've been saying some great stuff. Okay. All right, we talked about most of the stuff. Okay, are you still doing photography or are you still?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to do a photo session of you. That was like when I sent those messages to you. No. But unfortunately, the weather is like, because I figured the best way to show you what I do is for you to experience a photo session with me.
Okay.
So that's what I initially had decided. Yeah. But this weather is just like killing it. Yeah. Because I had all these ideas. I was like, okay, bring this and bring that, and we'll do this and we'll do that and do this and do that. And you were going to be like, wow, because when somebody shoots with me, usually after they leave, they're like, "Oh my God!" Because I like when I shoot, it's like a hurricane or a tornado. The ideas and change this, do this. So we still are going to have that moment. We're still going to have that moment.
We can do this.
We're going to have that moment, and then once you get the pictures, and then you can like add the yes. Okay. You have the full experience.
All right, we'll do that. Yeah.
The full experience.
Okay. All right. Next time, like I said, my brother lives like 10 minutes away. And when I come see my brother, I'm going to call you up, see what you're doing.
We need to get together on a sunny day.
Yeah.
Not a rainy day. Like right now, go build an ark, because
some of the craziest rain I've seen in LA. I mean, this year in general.
Yesterday, I was driving in my Jeep, in Ruby, my red Jeep Wrangler. It started, I was at Jefferson and La Brea.
Okay.
The hail.
Started hailing.
Really? Coming down.
Yeah.
Rocks. Yeah. And then I look off in the distance, there's a rainbow. It's hailing and there's a rainbow in the hail. I was like, I've got to record this. So I actually recorded. I just hit record on the phone while I was driving, and you can see the rainbow in the hailstorm.
Yeah.
Hail's bouncing off the hood of the car. I'm like, this weather is fucking crazy.
It's wild. Not since
the Santa Ana winds, all the palm trees on the ground.
Yeah. The wind has been crazy. It's been way colder. This rain, just this today and yesterday. I think for another 4 days.
I'm waiting for an earthquake.
Oh no! Oh, don't say that.
But it's coming like Christmas, baby. I grew up in Los Angeles. I lived through the earthquake in 1971.
Okay, yeah.
And I've been here a couple of times, and there've been tremors. And people, did you feel that earthquake? I said the bed shook, but I thought that was,
a truck driving by or something. Yeah, yeah. No, I lived through so when Northridge earthquake happened, I was 12, 30, something like that. And that was a monster, for my lifetime, right? Anyone my age remembers that earthquake, because my school was closed down for about a month.
Earthquake in 71, it lasted so long that we woke up. My mom called me. I woke up. The house was shaking. We looked outside the palm trees. Everything was moving. We had to run to the doorway and stand in the doorway. And everything was just like rocking and rolling. And it was still like, oh shit, it's still rocking.
Still going.
Usually like they shake and then they stop.
Yeah.
It was like.
Kept going. Just kept going. There was one about a couple weeks ago. It was late though. It was maybe at about 2 a.m. But that one was I thought some walls are about to fall down because it was going on for a little bit too long.
If you have stuff in your house and shit starts falling on the floor, that's when you like. Things start rolling.
Yeah. You see things hanging up that is just swinging a little bit.
Right.
A little bit in the air.
The house starts like doing the shimmy.
That's LA. But you know what? I'll take an earthquake over a tornado or
No.
hurricane? Oh,
No,
100%.
No, I'm not doing hurricanes. I'm not doing Florida. I'm not doing tsunamis.
Nah.
I'm not.
No.
No.
We do get some fires down here, but
The one thing, well, yes, that part is very serious. I remember growing up in Los Angeles and the fires and coming out and the soot is landed on the car, you know, the kind of ashes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was in New York for 9/11.
Okay. Oh, sure.
I know somebody who was working. I was in Harlem, so I saw it from a distance.
Okay.
That was the weirdest. That was the weirdest thing, though, because I was asleep. I had stayed up working on something, and people were calling me saying, "Edgar, turn on the TV.
Yeah.
Turn on." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Why does the phone?" I kept hanging up on people, and people kept calling me,
Yeah.
and they said, "Just turn on the TV. Turn on the TV." So I turned on the TV, and I'm like, "There's some movie. There's some disaster movie about the World Trade Center." What? And then I was watching TV, and I saw the second plane. There was enough time to sit there and watch the second plane hit.
Insane.
And then I was like, "What the
happening?" Yeah.
What? And I, by the way, just want to go on record. The Freedom Tower is ugly compared to the Twin Towers. That thing that they built is hideous compared to the drawings that they showed us of what it was gonna look like, and then what they actually came with. I'm very unsatisfied.
Really?
I was
Not
very
impressed.
unsatisfied. Not as beautiful as the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sits and it gleams and stuff like that. It looks like a big mirror, but I'm very disappointed.
I've seen, I went to New York maybe 4 years ago, something like that. So I had never seen the Twin Towers in person.
Oh my God.
I've seen the Freedom Towers.
But if you want to see the Twin Towers, Dino De Laurentiis' King Kong.
Okay.
King Kong climbs the Twin Towers in that movie.
Okay.
So.
And it's a good shot of them.
It's a great shot of the Twin Towers. It's romantic.
Oh, okay.
It's romantic. He romanticizes that part of New York and also the energy of New York. I mean, when they first find her, she's like in a lifeboat with a Halston dress on, and that's all she's got. Okay, that's the time period.
Yeah. You got to be that was the real damsel in distress era of movies. Yeah.
But I mean, I would talk to my friends about that movie, and they were like, you saw the jungle people give sacrifices to King Kong. And we always said to myself, they had been dancing around and doing sacrifices all these time. What did he do with all the other girls that they gave him? You know, it wasn't until they gave him this snowflake that all of a sudden he like calmed down. It was like beauty. It was there was something about that whole movie about, you know, Jessica Lange looking fresh, and she was fresh. That was when she was fresh. She was a fresh plucked daisy. Because if you saw her in American Horror Story, she was.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh,
okay,
that's
but the difference between the time span.
That is right. That is the same
The difference
woman.
between the time span is.
Yeah.
Jessica Lange.
Oh, yeah. See, that's funny. I didn't even realize that. That's
Jessica
her.
Lange.
That's her.
That's Jessica Lange. Man. But she is fresh.
Yeah.
No wrinkles. No.
Yeah.
The face is snatched. Sit up. Everything.
Nice. Yeah. The perfect person to play that damsel for that movie. But I've heard so many theories about King Kong and how it's about. You know what? I don't even want to get into it right now.
It's a deeper conversation.
But
it's part of New York lore. The idea of King Kong climbing the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And part of my logo is ES is the symbol sort of the Empire State Building, and I have a tattoo on my arm, which is also Edgar Scott.
Yeah.
It's the ES. It's a monogram.
Yeah.
But Art Deco. I love Art Deco.
Oh, okay.
Art Deco. I think I was a flapper or a musician or something in reincarnation, because when I hear the music and I see the architecture, I feel at home.
Yeah. Okay. Going to say there's still some of that style standing here in LA.
Oh, in LA, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hollywood flourished during the 20s.
Yeah.
And that time period before the crash of the stock market. Everything was just exploding after the war, and Art Deco was like this thing. Then the stock market crashed, and they had to figure out how to come up with Social Security and all this other stuff to rebuild the nation. But up until that point, Art Deco was this really freeing. They thought they were living in the future. They were trying to be futuristic. You know, the brow lines and all of that.
I think that's why it's still, it still stands today as a a moment in time that they were just making
Hollywood
things
was glorious
absolutely
during
beautiful.
that period.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at some of the architecture in Leimert Park,
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Howard
yeah.
Hughes,
Yeah. Yeah.
he had a lot to do with building the city.
Yeah. I bet the man had a lot of money. I mean,
A lot of control.
that's exactly what
control.
it is. Yeah. When you have control, you can do whatever you want. Control plus money. Oh, you're doing everything you want.
And everybody says yes to you. Nobody says no.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Money is freedom.
Yeah. It is.
I could live a life without money if I could just have what money can buy. I don't need the money. I just want what money
Sure,
can buy.
all the stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you brought that up because I want to talk about something that I saw on your Instagram, the Feed the Streets, LA.org. Okay. So, all right. So that is something that,
Cassandra Calloway. Much love, Cassandra.
All right. So when I lived downtown, my mother used to go, she would go and she would buy like individually wrapped snacks, toiletries, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and she would go hand them out. We'd go to Skid Row. Her and my auntie, she would hand out stuff. Or there's a corner she used to stand on, and there were some of the people that lived on the streets that knew who my mother was, and they knew that she'd be here Saturday, Sunday morning, passing out, just stuff for them to, so they can brush their teeth and, and clean.
That community, when they feel that there's someone they can depend on, there's some continuity for them.
Yeah.
They look forward to that continuity. And you feel good.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good helping, just being there.
Yeah.
Whether, someone comes Pico and Redondo were there every Tuesday.
Okay.
Giving away, free food,
Yeah.
Sanitizer, bread. She gets the bakery goods from Pavilions. Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it's perishable. So we're trying to give it to people.
Yeah.
And they walk by and we're like, free, free,
Yeah.
free. And some people are like, I don't need,
Really?
Oh, yeah. Wow. But when somebody comes along who wants it, they're like, yes.
Yeah.
Because... once you get some free stuff, then you have the responsibility of eating it and using it before it spoils.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you feel bad. I hate throwing away food.
Oh yeah. Especially when you need it, when it's super necessary to have it right now, because you might not know when you're going to get something to eat.
Food
might be
insecurities.
a few days. Absolutely. So yeah, I saw that and I thought that is absolutely a one. I want to. Maybe we'll talk after because I would like to be involved in that, some way.
Well, they're looking for
even
people.
just volunteering.
When I go back to New York, she needs people. So every Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay.
Every Tuesday. Feed the Streets, Cali.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Much love to you, Cassandra. You're doing a great job out there, baby.
That is awesome. So how did you get involved with that, though? Is it
Carla? Carla. I said to Carla one day, I said, Carla, look, I'm here in Los Angeles to help use me and use my time. And she goes, well, on Tuesday we're doing a so-and-so. If you could help me, we're going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, 6 o'clock in the morning? But at the same time, I was like, show up. Show up. Get up. Do something for somebody other than yourself. Help, feed. I mean, my family has been one of those families that was an NAACP kind of, you know. So it was the idea of we're here to give. We're here. I'm a ambassador. I'm a leadership ambassador from school. How can I help the community? How can I help people? So it feels good to be part of an organization that is actually doing something. So we did something also out in Hawthorne. And Maxine Waters came. We were giving away stuff, and Maxine Waters came, and she gave a $4 million check to the city of Hawthorne.
Ooh, buddy.
$4 million.
Right. There we go. All right.
You know, and I was like,
$4 million. Okay.
$4 million.
There we go. That's some serious money.
Well, I don't.
Not some pocket change.
Some people it's not, but to me, $4 million could definitely.
I'd be done with $4 million.
But actually, I always think if I were going to win $1 million, I would want to win like maybe $2 million or $3 million. Because the minute you spend the first dollar, you're no longer a millionaire. That's the thing. If you don't get $2 million,
that's true.
The minute you spend the first dollar,
that's it. That's it.
You're no
the
longer
minute you pay taxes. Yeah.
Right, and then taxes is going to take half of it.
Yeah.
So you need to get
You
at
need a
least
few.
5 to 6 so that you can still have $1 million in the bank.
So you can still be a millionaire.
Or $1 million can, diversify.
Absolutely, but get some property, you know what I mean? You get some stocks.
Some everything.
Beautiful.
Some vacation.
Absolutely.
Travel. I think that's very important, though. One of the other things I would say is being a good American means leaving this country, seeing that there's another way to live, there's another... We're so stuck on ourselves in this country and thinking that our way is the best way, but our way isn't the only way.
It's not the only way.
It's not the only way.
It really isn't, yeah.
And you need to experience life with other groups and other people to really appreciate what we have in this country.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Only through my travels of seeing other people living do I come back to embrace, like, oh, yes, I'm so glad to be here. Because there are times that I'm just like, oh, America, you suck. And this sucks and that sucks. And then you go somewhere where people can't even say it sucks. If you say it sucks, they'll come and grab you in the middle of the night.
Immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you realize
family.
you have these freedoms and stuff.
That's true. It's true. We are, it's fun. Even with all of our faults, with all of the history of just...
It's still my country. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. America's fucked up, but it's still my country.
I'd rather be here than anywhere else, that's for sure.
It's still my country.
Yeah.
My people built this country.
Absolutely.
So I ain't going nowhere. They were like, go back to Africa. You go back. You go back to a cave.
I do want to go to Africa, though.
I've been there. South Africa is amazing. I want to go to North Africa, but I went through Cape Town and Johannesburg and Soweto.
Yeah.
And that was a deep experience.
Yeah.
That was a very deep experience.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important. Ghana, it's important. Spend your money. Don't just travel through Europe.
Yeah.
Spend your money in Africa, but make sure you know where you're going, though. Because Africa's got lots of different sections, and this isn't okay, and that. Know where you're going.
Yeah.
You know, know what the politics and stuff is, because we are targets. As Americans traveling, you will have a target on your back. People have perceptions of what your life is and everything, so you have to be aware. Also, travel in a pack. Don't travel by yourself. It's very dangerous traveling around the world by yourself. It's better to be with somebody. I've learned that. Travel light, travel far, but at the same time, there's safety in numbers.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Oh, boy. Yeah, I just, there was this oil painter I interviewed that's in South Africa, and he is, that's the one thing that's, what I love about America. Is he in Liz's show? No. He's a young dude. Shout out Rick Lane. If Rick was American, this man would be a star, 100%. He paints like a Renaissance.
Really?
I'll show you some of his stuff after.
Okay.
He's fantastic.
Cool.
But and that's what I did an Ancestry.com thing just to see.
I'm doing one. I haven't done it yet, but I keep saying I'm going to do it. I need to.
Yeah. So when I got my results back to see all of the different places, my ancestry is in all of the different countries. And
how much Eastern European are you?
All right, so they do it by percentages, right?
Right.
So the thing that is my highest percentage, England and North Wales.
Yes.
It's like 20.
You got them green eyes, kid. Where you think them green eyes came from?
It's like 22%. Yeah, it's something wild. Yeah, and then Nigeria, I think, was second with like 18%, something like that. But when I calculated
how much
all the
Indian
numbers,
did you get? Did you get Indian?
I think it was like 1%. But then I also got native, like South American.
South American too?
Yeah. It's
in there.
It came out to some like 15 different countries, like something insane.
That you had no idea.
Going black in America, I mean, I'm sure that's very common with a lot of.
But they call this country a melting pot, and then when you do your ancestry, you realize just how melting.
Yes.
My father did. Yeah. We did my father's ancestry DNA after he died. We actually had the funeral home swab him before he was cremated.
Yeah.
And turned out my dad had no Eastern European.
Really?
It was all the Cameroon, Nigeria. It was straight up.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
That's incredible.
So all the Eastern European is going to come from my mom's side. That's the other reason why I'm looking forward to doing it, finding out what I get.
Yeah.
But there's I know there's Blackfoot and there's Cherokee, but my dad was straight up black.
Wow. That's
no
crazy.
Eastern European.
That's kind of
Zero Eastern European.
Crazy to grow up in America. That's insane. That's That's
we
wild.
straight up black.
That's wild. Well, see, my mom's family's from New Orleans, so I knew.
So you got some Creole up in there, some French and some.
It's funny. People used to think my mom was Mexican. If I showed you a
light,
picture,
right?
she's very. No, she passed away.
I got a lot of that in my family.
But yeah, and so I knew when I did that Ancestry.com, I did the swab, did the whole thing. I knew it was going to come back a little. I wasn't expecting all that. I knew we had some French, but I didn't know I was England.
But I can see the French. I can in the color in your faces. I can see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's out of all 7 of us, I'm probably. I hate to talk about skin color. I'm the darkest one in my family.
But I grew up. That's important though, because growing up, I remember when we were Negroes, National Advancement of first we were colored. First National Advancement of Colored People.
Yeah.
We were colored.
Yeah.
And then we were Negroes.
Okay.
Negroes uplift the race and the crisis and Negro.
Yeah.
And then I remember being in elementary school at Cienega Elementary, and I saw the first poster that said "Black is Beautiful." It was a poster on a house, and it was Angela Davis with afro.
Yeah.
And I remember coming home, and my mother said, "They called me black." And my mother was insulted. She was like, because my mom was light, real light, but she's like, "Black." And then 3 weeks later, it was like, "I'm black." Say it loud, "I'm black," and I'm proud. And we were black. And black, we endorsed. We came around black. And then later on, in the 90s, all of a sudden we were Afro-American. And it was Afro. We were Afro-American, and then we dropped Afro-American, and we went back to being black. So now we're back to being black. We passed being Afro, and now we're black again.
It keeps changing like that. See, I grew up being black, but then when I was a kid, it was called as African American.
And then with some people, you're not black enough.
Oh, 100.
I'm sure they give you issues.
Oh yeah. It's fun. Yeah. If you were to see my mom, you would tell me I was half black. My mom would punch you in the mouth if you told her she wasn't black, though.
Well, it was interesting though, because my family, all the men were dark and they married light-skinned women. It was about uplift the race, but also brighten and lighten. And I remember one time I took a picture for the high school yearbook, and when I came home and I showed it to my mom, she looked at it and she goes, "Oh my God, your lips are so big. Why didn't you smile so they could look thinner?" And I was like, "What? My lips are too big? Really?" But those are the things that society had placed on them.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Those weren't considered beautiful features.
Right.
Yeah.
We're embracing them now, but at the same time, it was, when you look at those commercials and they were people were bleaching and lightening and straightening
Still
and
doing it too.
conking, and now we're in the natural hair.
Yeah.
Natural. Give me the natural naps. You look like a runaway slave. Just, let it grow, let it flow.
Yeah.
Now they've got laws that you can't say nothing about my natural hair. We're protecting the hair. But back in the day, we were like, you don't want kinky hair. Straighten that shit.
Straighten it
Cut
out.
it off. Shave it. Do something. Get a wig.
Absolutely.
Poor Michael Jackson.
Oh boy. Oh man, that's probably the saddest.
No, but they burned Pepsi Cola burned off all his hair. So everything that you saw was a wig.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't know that.
He had no hair.
I didn't know that.
Pepsi Cola burned off he was bald.
Oh,
I read his autopsy. His autopsy, they said he was a virgin. Now, this is one part. How can you tell?
How do you know?
That's the other part. I was like, but on his autopsy, it says Michael Jackson is a virgin.
Really?
Bald.
I'm going to have to check that out. That's wild. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm still going through the interview, darling. Can't talk right now.
Okay, bye.
Hold on. All right, we're still going. Oh.
So we've just been talking.
Okay, yeah.
Did
We've
you
been
run out of
talking
film?
about a whole. No, I want to make sure because sometimes the phone cuts out and you got to re-record it. Okay, just make sure. Okay, yeah. Well, we really got through everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, and then some. So
Got some content. You're going to have to edit.
this is going to be the longest interview I've done in a while. That's for sure. Okay. All right. I have one closing question that I like to ask every artist.
Okay.
If there's any advice that you can give to a young artist, young and up and coming, that you wish that you would have had when you first started your art career, what would you tell them?
Learn to take criticism, but keep your voice. Don't let anyone silence your voice. There are voices that speak to you, they whisper to you, and sometimes we muffle that and we listen to what other people say. And you have to learn to keep a balance between the voices and the spirit and the ancestors and whatever's inside you. And then you also have to listen to what people are saying and take criticism and work with it and grow from it rather than throw it off. You have to be able to digest it.
Oh, okay.
Like you eat something and digest it and pass it. So you need to be able to take it. And it's very hard sometimes when you get criticism to not throw it off or not fight against it, but to actually absorb it, to get it and to learn from it, to move on. That's what is important, because if you don't, you become extinct. You're not relevant.
Yeah.
If you can't pivot, if you can't, be like somebody said, be like a reed that bends in the wind rather than a branch that breaks.
Yeah.
So you have to be flexible.
Okay.
So trying to be flexible, trying to maneuver between what you think and what you feel and what you hear and what other people tell you, and marry those two together, merge those two together and bring them together. Yes, success.
Okay, I like that. All right. You hear that, young artist? That was great advice, all right. Edgar Scott, everybody, thank you again.
Thank you so much for coming, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we're going to have to do this again.
A lot of
I
fun.
got to come back and get my get some photos.
Oh, we're going to do some pictures. We're going to do some pictures. Let the sun come shine. Let the sun shine. And,
Beautiful.
you have time to pull it together, do some push-ups, sit-ups, whatever you got to do.
Give me a couple weeks.
Huh? You ain't got a couple weeks. I'm leaving town soon, or you'll get me when I come back. One or the other. But definitely, we are going to get you.
Absolutely.
Because you've got some nice cheekbones and pretty eyes and all that. Yeah.
About 15 years ago, I was.
What? Don't throw it off on 15 years. You're still rolling, dude. You're still here. Come on now.
I was in my prime,
You're always in your prime. That's the thing now, though. Like people are like 30 is the new 40, and so is the new.
Yeah.
You're always in your prime.
True. I feel good, so I'm not
as long as you still kicking it, and you ain't got a feeding tube, or
Absolutely.
you ain't walking with a walker. Even if you are walking with a walker,
still alive.
Still kicking it.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
Thank you, people.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. I hope it was informative and amusing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I really like it. It's going to be a good one. Take care, everyone.
Mwah.
All right.